Hey everybody, welcome to Morning Glory Farmstead. My name is Lolly and this channel is all about gardening, animals, and nature. After I did that last video, after the freeze, we had an awesome rain, and so everything got much bigger over the next couple days. This is the giant noble spinach. These are some of the collard greens. And now that everything's had a chance to really defrost after that -10 wind chill. All right, Rubos. I can really assess the damage now and see, what really survived, what didn't. And I'm going to get in here and start giving this thing a really good haircut so I can see what I'm dealing with. Maybe able to give some things to the chickens as well. I don't give them dead leaves, but I will give them things that are a little bit damaged. Oh, that was Rubos and Runner together. My theory about this down here is that it wasn't covered well because the wind was going up underneath it and it was near the bottom. Now these are the same greens as what I just showed you that didn't make it, and they look awesome. They're just higher up. So what I'm going to do next time is make sure that I have the bottom sealed a little bit with some rocks or bricks or something, just to make sure that cover is held down so that all that cold air isn't getting right up underneath at the bottom. It may look a little skimpy by the time I get done pruning it, but I'm excited to see how much of a comeback it can make. If you guys haven't watched my video on how the green stalks are saving my life, check it out. It is no joke. In fact, I just cheated a few times during this very, very cold snap. Honestly, there were just some things that sounded really good to me because it had been so cold, and I really wasn't up to going out -10 wind chill trying to get veggies off the green stalk, but boy, did I pay the price. This is the first time I've been able to get out of bed and walk around in 4 days. All right, I recently did a video on the key to having a successful garden, and this is a follow-up to that. These are what I consider the top 8 ways that you can nurture the relationship or partnership that you have with your garden and increase your crop or plant yield. Your garden will do everything it can to give you what you want, but it can't reach its potential without you. It has to be a partnership. A few tips are going to be specific to the GREENSTALK vertical garden, just because I have familiarity with it. This is not an all-inclusive list, and it's not brain science, you guys. But when we forget to do the basics of almost any process, we often forego the positive results. If you don't study, you may fail the test. If you don't follow the directions in a cake recipe, you may end up with a crazy looking or awful tasting cake. If you already do all of these things, then kudos, and I have no doubt that you have seen some success in your gardens. Okay, number 1, try to walk the garden frequently. Daily or every other day is best, because even though we can't prevent everything that happens in a garden, we can at least lessen some of the impact and things that go on when a garden is not monitored. Also, you won't be able to do items 2 through 8 on this list if you're not out there spending some time in the garden. All right, number 2, watering appropriately according to the needs of each part of your garden. Now, this may sound obvious because all plants need water, but some are heavier drinkers than others. And remember that container gardens dry out faster than in-ground gardens, okay? You can stick your finger down in the soil to see if it's moist if you have like a container or a green stalk. But you can also tell a lot just by looking at the condition of the leaves of most of your plants. Number 3, monitoring the soil condition. Now, it may start out great, but it's going to change over time as the plants deplete the soil of its nutrients. Is it too sandy? Is it loose? Or is it clumpy? Maybe it looks dry. It's totally depleted of nutrients. Or is it stuck together like mud? Maybe it's too wet. Maybe you have too much manure if that's what you're using. Or if you're using potting mix like in the GREENSTAK or a container, it's probably not going to turn into a sandy or muddy texture, but you will definitely need to add nutrients, which leads me to number 4. Adding nutrients at either fairly planned intervals or when you can tell that your plants just need it. And maybe reading up a little bit just to make sure you know which ones to add. Now, I'm going to do a video on that in the future as far as amendments go, just to share whatever I'm learning with you guys. Number 5, keeping an eye out for pests. Some of them, like hornworms, can actually take over and destroy your garden in just a day or two. Some are super obvious, but some of them are stealth and sneaky. They hide underneath on the bottoms of the leaves or even down in the base where the new leaves are growing. You want to look for the pests themselves and their eggs. Now, just a tidbit about the GREENSTAK is that I found pests and eggs on the outside of the GREENSTAK in the little area between the pockets and also underneath on the bottom of the tiers. So maybe check them periodically before you water again so that they won't be so heavy. You can lift them off. And then you can see here how easy it would be to overlook those eggs or pests hiding behind some of the leaves or greens that are covering them up. You've got to be intentional about moving those out of the way to do some spot checks every now and then. All right. Number 6, harvesting the food when it's ready. If you leave your food too long, they can start to rot and attract pests, and it may go to waste. But also, with all of my greens and lettuces, if you let them get overcrowded, they really can't produce as much, especially in a small space like a GREENSTAK pocket or a container. So what I do is I cut what I need, and then there's usually more the next day that's ready to be harvested already. Greens and lettuces typically grow fairly quickly. Number 7, pulling weeds and pruning. Just removing half dead or dead leaves and even a few leaves that may be full of pests. If I see one piece of lettuce that's covered and the surrounding vegetation looks pretty clean, I just remove that leaf. I just take it off. Number 8, really all you can do is your best with all of these, but try to monitor how they're being impacted by the elements. Are they getting too much sun and looking scorched or starting to shrivel? Because even if you water the plants, the extreme heat can actually burn the leaves, and that could be really bad news for your veggies. And remember, if you have a GREENSTAK, you got to turn it daily. And if the sun is way too intense, if at all possible, rotate it twice a day to keep the leaves from getting scorched. You may need to provide a little bit of shade or cover them during extreme weather conditions like excess rain or extreme cold. Now, if you have a GREENSTAK or containers, those can be moved to a different location if needed. And also, a greenhouse can actually come in handy for some added protection. All right, I hope these reminders help to mentally prepare you for the upcoming season so that you are motivated to get out there and nurture that partnership with your garden so you can grow some awesome plants and food. I'll see you real soon in the next video, and until then, y'all have a great couple of days. Bye-bye.